Hi everyone, Bernard here and I hope you're all staying safe and well. Welcome to my latest Citizen channel feature. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button and push the bell notifications as well so you know when these vlogs are coming out, and of course do lots of stuff City past and City present, so please push that notification button. Make sure your notification is set to public as well, don't forget, otherwise you won't get to know, but press that subscribe button. Please check out my links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter, and also don't forget I've got a little film and TV channel on YouTube as well, so if you want to have a little break from football, check that out. And of course on Facebook and Twitter I will check every few days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And also don't forget I'll have a sort of links with Losing Business on Twitter. They promote City fan related small businesses, local businesses which need our help perhaps more than ever these days, don't they? So please don't hesitate to get in touch with me if I can promote or put some stuff out for you on one of my magazine vlogs, my City magazine vlogs. And don't forget, I'll always give a shout out to local projects or charities, etc, etc. Just get in touch. Anyway, please enjoy today's Citizen channel feature. Thank you. Right, this is the first, another new feature. Yeah, I thought we're going to call this Hark Now Hear the City Sing. I'll let you carry on with that. We all know the rest of that song. Yeah, obviously my little History Boys features during the season when we play United. Obviously I look back at previous derbies, but of course there's always some extra special ones, isn't there, that deserve just a little feature of their own, and this is one of those today. We look back at the final, of course, the final ever derby. Played at Main Road on the 9th of November 2002. Me and my lad were there, and yeah, what a day that was for all of us that were there. And if you weren't there, what a day to look back on, a fantastic day. Join me as we have a look at this. For one, City have read the script. Yeah, we got the script right this time. We don't always get it right, do we? But yeah, for this one, left a worthy memory for City fans to take away from our of course, last season at the old magnificent Main Road Stadium. Keegan was in charge, of course. Things were bright, weren't they? Fantastic season before, got us back up. What a season that was. We just scored goals for fun, didn't we? And of course, it was imperative, wasn't it, that season? We were moving to the Etihad, weren't we? It was imperative that City stay in that top division. We couldn't afford to drop out again. We couldn't become a boing club, could be like poor old West Brom, etc. But yeah, but by the arrival of United on the 9th of November 2002, City had played 12 games and amassed just 14 points. So it wasn't fantastic. 6 of those points we'd got from the last 2 league games before this United game, so it'd actually been even worse. So at least we got a couple of wins at West Brom and Birmingham. So our total league stats were 1-4, drawn 2 and lost 6. But say it could have been even worse. We sat okay then, obviously in 14th. Say a couple of wins and 3 points for a win. You know what they say, you know, it makes a big difference. But we're only 4 points above the relegation zone. At the top, United weren't having it their own way. They were struggling a little bit, actually, for United. They were actually third in the league. They were behind Liverpool, who were top, and Arsenal, who were second. But they certainly weren't quite at their best. They were okay at home, they were okay at Old Trafford, but away from Old Trafford, they were struggling a bit. They'd played 5 away games, and they'd literally only won 1 of them. So, yeah, it sort of boded well for City, didn't it? Add to this as well, well, Mr. Goater did complain that he wanted to play United's best team, but I mean, I'll take anything. Would have took anything in those days, certainly. Add to this missing were Roy Keane, David Beckham, and Nicky Butt were all out of action for this one. We got into this, though, even though things had gone okay in the league. We won the last 2. We'd actually had a disappointing defeat in the Worthington Cup. Yeah, where at? Oh, let me think. Oh, Wigan. There we go. Yeah, a bit of a pain, Wigan, aren't they? But yeah, we'd actually lost that 1-0, unfortunately, previous to this game, so it wasn't great. But the teams that day that played against City and United, the teams that day in front of a crowd of 34,649, which pretty more or less was capacity in those days, including a very special guest, of course, that attended this game. Of course, the legendary Bert Troutman was at this one. City team that day was Schmeichel, Vikings, Dunn, Matomo, Son, Berkovic, Foe, Tiato, Jensen, Gota and Anelka. And the subs were Wright Phillips, Huckabee, Horlock, Benabia and Nash. Yeah, Horlock came on in the 88th minute and Wright Phillips in the 78th minute. United, yeah, it's not a bad team on paper. Barthez, Gary Neville, Blanc, Ferdinand, Silvestre, Solskjaer. I mean, I picked on Barthez and not Neville. What's wrong with me? Solskjaer, Veron, Neville, Phil Neville, Giggs, Scholes, Van Nistelrooy. And their subs were Forlan, O'Shea, May, Fortune and Ricardo. And Forlan and O'Shea did come on. Forlan came on the 62nd minute and so did O'Shea. Yeah, the pre-match atmosphere was incredible. I sort of just about remember it. I mean, I certainly remember the post-match atmosphere being incredible. But it was helped out by the fact that the PA system went down. We didn't have the greatest PA system at Main Road. It drowned out things all the time. But obviously with the PA system off, obviously just it was left to the fans to sing the songs, obviously, with an anti-United bias, of course. It always adds to it, doesn't it? And it was fantastic. I mean, the singing, a lot of games at Main Road, you would get lulls, of course, but when you had the Old North Stand joining in, when they started doing it a few years before it shut, obviously, you tried to sing all match if you could, whether things weren't going so well or not, The headlines, the headlines in the paper on that day as the match went, I mean, I probably don't have to tell you that we won it. Of course, City fans, including me and my lad, didn't get to see Derby wins much in that period. In fact, this was only the second that my lad had seen, and he hardly remembered the first one in the 5-1 massacre, of course, in 1989, because he wasn't even 6 then, but that was one of his first games he went to. But he was there, but he couldn't remember it, so we had a bit of a lull. So we had a bit of a sort of lack of wins, or lack of, I think might have had the odd draw, but we hadn't done much, have we, over, it's 13 years between the two. The headlines in the papers, Rob Beasley of the News of the World, Keegan's goat gloat, Sean pounces on Neville blunder, and Hans King Kev, the Derby spoils. He certainly did. The Sunday Mirror led the Prem pull-out with Bluetiful. There we go. See what they did? Very clever, aren't they, with these words? City end 13 years of hurt. We certainly do. Inside the Sunday Mirror, Simon Mullock led with Gocha. There you go, Gocha. That sounded very good for bloody Chaz and Dave there, weren't we? Gocha at long last. Paul McCarthy, we're going to stick with in a minute to read his match report of this game. Of the People, led with Chuckle Brothers. Yeah, I thought that was quite good. Obviously, Chuckle Brothers. This is the go-to one, but the Chuckle, you'll see it on the screen anyway. I'll put it up there. Chuckle Brothers, United humbled by City, and the Nevilles are the main culprits. Of course they were. Of course, we'll stay with Paul McCarthy now for the little match report that he did for the paper. Obviously, don't think I thought the Chuckle Brothers appealed to me, so I just thought it might be quite funny this. So it wasn't too bad. So here we go. Let's just read from his match report. It will be a close-run thing, the Manchester City Player of the Season contest. I mean, how can you separate them? Who do you go for? Can you possibly put a fag paper between the massive influence on City's campaign? On the one hand, you've got Phil Neville, man of many parts, few of them working. On the other, there's Brother Gary, the best-loved man in Moss Side and architect of the greatest City Derby victory since the halcyon days of 1989. In fact, the only one since 1989. Gary, you feel, will just about nick it, if only for the most majestic of mistakes that will go down in the annals of Manchester history for its sheer ineptitude, but one that brought the old stadium to its feet in acclaim. Whoever wins it, both Neville brothers can take solace from the fact City have decided to name one of the stands in their spanking new Millennium Stadium in their honour. We haven't really. It's the least they can do. Families throughout Manchester are normally torn asunder on Derby Day. Rarely, though, can one family have suffered so awfully while actually playing in one of those high-octane encounters. Unless you were one of the whores decked out in City blue, it's difficult not to feel some sympathy for them, especially Gary. No, not a chance. The last United captain to pull on the armband in a derby became a figure of hatred for City fans after leaving 6 studs in Alfie Inge Haaland's knee. But where Roy Keane is reviled, Gary Neville was cheered to the rafters. His name hailed around Main Road every time he touched the ball. In the end, even Sir Alex took pity, hauling him off after an hour to save him from further punishment. Yet, as if to keep City fans amused, he handed Phil the armband. Talk about torment. Not that the home fans will care too much that their own personal laughing stock was absent for the last 30 minutes. They will carry the memory of his howler with them until their dying day. Sadly, so will the elder Neville. He will replay it over and over, not knowing every time it gets worse what was he doing, what was he thinking about when Mark Vivian Foe's harmless hoof bounced towards him. First of all, he tried to shepherd the ball out, then he attempted some kind of back pass to Fabian Barthez, yet succeeded only in tapping the ball onto Sean Goater, who with 98 City goals on the table before the game, knows a thing or two about accepting gift-wrapped chances. Compared to Gary's goof, Phil's was never in the same class, even if his pathetic attempt at finding Rio Ferdinand after just 5 minutes gave Nicholas Anelka the scent. He set off towards goal, found Goater in space, and when Bartez's chocolate-wristed parry humped loose in the 6-yard box, the Frenchman was on hand to gobble it up. And still there was time for a Neville hat-trick of cock-ups. Phil surrendering possession cheaply, Isle Berkovic spotting the opening and putting Goater through to neatly clip the ball over the advancing Barthez. Feed the goat this precisely and he will undoubtedly go on to clock up his double ton. Can we play you every week, taunted the faithful. Goater would certainly appreciate it, especially after being on United's books as a teenager. That's the Nevilles dealt with. Now let's turn our attention to the other 9 wasters in red shirts who were nothing short of disgrace, traitors to the cause, imposters masquerading as United players. Juan Sebastian Veron would never pull on a shirt again if Fergie listened to the disgusted fans flocking away for the last time from this hated territory. He was nothing more than a showboating sham of a player, only scraped a 4 in my marks because he managed to put his shirt on the right way round. There were others who almost came as close, who surrendered so tamely it was embarrassment, who never once matched City's desire, spirit or sheer will to win. United looked exactly what they are, a spent force searching for some kind of soul and direction and finding only disarray. No Keane, no Beckham and very little hope of wresting the title away from either Highbury or Anfield. We'll talk about that in a moment. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer equaliser 3 minutes after Anelka put City ahead was just about the only time Peter Schmeichel felt threatened, until the last minute, that is, when John O'Shea made a late bid to overshadow the Nevilles with quite simply the most disastrous miss of the season or any other. Yeah, I still don't know how he missed that one. Solskjaer's ball virtually trickled along the goal line towards the youngster at the far post, but from all of a yard, O'Shea contrived to send the ball skidding 2 feet wide of the post off his studs. So if there wasn't enough to send the City faithful dancing deliriously towards the nearest pub, O'Shea just added to the glee. And what glee it was! Well deserved and beautifully delivered by a City side who were a credit to Kevin Keegan and the faith he has shown in his side to deliver at such a tempestuous first third of the season. Love it, they just loved it. There you go, Paul McCarthy. Thank you for that. Yeah, his ratings for that game, he did say they're going to be quite low for the United. I think it's about very United. I think City just battered them basically. But I'm biased answer, but there you go. The ratings, United players' ratings. Barthez got a 5. I think that's very kind. Neville got a 4. Gary, very kind. Fernandinho. I'm so used to saying Fernandinho. Ferdinand 5, Blanc 5, Silvestri 5, Veron 4, Phil Neville 4, Scholes 6, Skid 6, Solskjaer 6, and Van Nistelrooy 6. So some 6s there, so they weren't that bad with it. City's ratings, all right, not as high as you'd expect on a massacre like this. Schmeichel 7. Dunny 7, Viking 7, Matomo 7, Jensen 7, Tiato 8, Foe 7, Berkovic 8, Yihai Sun 7, Anelka 8, and the Goater, of course, 9. It's probably worth a 10, wasn't it, Sean? But you know me, I never give anyone a 10, but there you go, neither does Mr. McCarthy. But thank you, Mr. McCarthy, again. Of course, the managers had different views. Keegan commented, I think the crowd made the difference. They were our 12th man. I have never heard them make so much noise since I came here they were fantastic. Fergie said, I wondered if I should let our fans into the dressing room and let the players hear what they had to say. There you go. Well, yeah, that dropped, if you look at the table there, that's a wonderful victory for us. Dropped United down to 5th and we moved up to 11th. Just 5 points behind them, eh? Who knows? Perhaps we could overpower them this season. Perhaps we could go on and do something. But yeah, because they're all at 6s and 7s, weren't they, United? Fergie had lots of work to do. But yeah, of course, they did go on and claim the title again. But there you go. Obviously, it wasn't as bad as it all looked on the at this stage, was it? On November the 9th, 2002. It wasn't going to be quite as bad for them, unfortunately. But at least we got that little victory over, and that was good. As far as us, of course, we went to the Etihad. We went to the Etihad as a Premier team, and sort of a few years later from then, we never really looked back, did we? My lad was extremely happy. As I said, he couldn't really remember much about the 5-1. He doesn't even know if he was there when I sort of comment now, but he was there at that 5-1, and I was extremely happy with this. Wait of 13 years. That's a long time. It felt a long time at the time, anyway, but. Say that was our first victory since that memorable 5-1, which of course I was at that one as well back in 1989. Who was with me in that one? Yeah, I think my eldest daughter might have been with me for that one, as well as my son. I'm not too sure actually. Could have been both of them, but certainly my lad was there anyway. I do remember that. Far too long though, 13 years, but there you go. Fantastic. Hope you enjoyed this Hark Now Hear the City Sing, and thanks for joining me for this little feature. Please let me know. Let me share your memories of that day. As I say, it's this sort of delve into it. It's nice reading these things. You get to remember certain things and aspects, but there's so much to remember. And yeah, there's been quite a few victories over United, so we don't always remember them, do we? But there you go. Let me know what your personal memories are of that day. Anyway, thanks for joining me. What we're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a flick across, have a look at my film and TV channel, get up a rest from football. I only ask one thing of you. All I ask is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.